125K, congrats.
Welcome to this live. Got a lot to go over with you guys. The Fed gave a direct attack against crypto. There was no reason to make the comment he made. It was pure controversy, and it was absolutely a strike to the heart of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the crypto market, and my crypto portfolio. You had to have walked away today with some pain after those remarks. Now, we got the 25 basis point cut. Now, and I expected him to say that we were going to get fewer cuts in 2025, and I expected the market wouldn't like that. But unnecessary talk from the Fed has absolutely put crypto in a FUD light moving forward. The entire markets are basically going to be in a FUD light. I was amazed as I started to listen to CNBC how some of the commentators began to say the run for big tech is over. That there's basically looking down the road in 2025, how these companies were not going to do as well, specifically citing Nvidia. And all I kept thinking was the FUD engine is cranked up. CNBC is simply regurgitating. On red days, they're bearish. On green days, they're bullish. They've got bearish commentators sitting on the sideline. And if the market goes down, they give those guys a call. If the market goes up, they call the bullish guys. It's basically whatever they think people want to hear, right? Really, I don't know. No analysis to speak of. We got a big show today. I'm going to take you into the S&P 500. I'm going to make some predictions. I'm going to take you into Bitcoin, which I'm going to be a little bit cautious when talking about Bitcoin today. In general, we're in the parabolic phase of Bitcoin. That's the phase that we are in. However, we've got to see Bitcoin perform a certain way to guarantee that we remain in that phase. You can't say we're in the acceleration phase and all of a sudden it's got a dramatic slowdown and a break, because right now it should be ripping. It should rip all through the month of December. So in my opinion, this isn't the time for a 30-40% pullback. We can see volatility, but we've got to end this month higher. We got to end this month with a green candle. And I'm going to show you that, because if we don't, then realistically, I've got to take a serious step back and I've got to look at my overall portfolio and my trading strategy. I got to take it into consideration. I'm going to bring Mark from Tribal Trades on the show. We are going to cover some charts. We're going to talk about the meme thing here in a little bit. I'm going to lead with the S&P, but I want to get his reaction because my phone was blasting. I was getting texts from Mark and other people on the Fed's comments, and Mark's was the most, I think, disgruntled. Mark, tell me how you really feel about the Fed's comments today.
Thanks, Josh. Great to be on the show again today. Yeah, look, I think it just shocked everybody. We got the rate cut that we were looking for, and then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, just a really, really dumb comment there and just unnecessary. And if you really want to know how this current administration feels about you, that was just uncalled for. $1.5 trillion wiped from the stock market today. Just unbelievable. Just a really silly thing. And the reality of it all, from my understanding, is the bill that is ready to be signed, that could be signed on day one by Donald Trump, would just absolutely push that all the way, because it would make it legal for the Fed to have it. That's what the whole point of the bill is. So it's just unbelievable that he would have done something like that a week before Christmas. He's not going to leave with a very good legacy, in my opinion.
Yeah. We've had 2 years of 30% plus returns on a lot of the major indexes, but now we've entered into a losing streak. And I made this comment a while back that we had a dip in August, September, October. We never got a dip really in November. And the question was, will we get that dip here in December? Will we get a pullback from this rip your face off rally? Tesla up over 100% in 40 days. And so here's how I view it. Really, there's part of me that's mad because honestly, my crypto has took a big hit. We're talking, I'm probably down in my long crypto portfolio $200,000 today. And you got to imagine I'm not happy about that. And that's, I've got stuff under stop losses. I've got some big positions I didn't want to stop out that I'm actually going to add to. but I'm not a happy camper today. Today was an ugly day. There's no way that you got through it unscathed, and neither did I. So we're going to get a pullback. And personally, the market was so hot as I was been talking about investing in blue chip companies in 2025 with leap strategies. There was very, very few pickings on that list that looked as if it had pulled back to a place where I personally would want to buy a 12-month option. And so what this does is it gives me the opportunity for these to pull back to my support levels, for me to feel really good once. It's always hard to feel good about taking a risk position when the market's collapsing, right? And the FUD engine is just firing up. But I'm going to feel a lot better because here's the bottom line. The Fed is basically telling us we're not going to get cuts because the economy's strong. And he's more concerned about inflation, even though he technically pivoted from inflation to unemployment. The fact is unemployment's stable. And inflation is the concern because the economy is strong. And so even though I think there's going to be a ton of volatility, we saw that in the VIX. The VIX spiked up to 28, I believe, which normally shows a degree of capitulation. It shows a degree of uncertainties now been essentially priced in. So at this point, we're going to look at all these companies. Not today. I'm going to look at a couple of them with you. But we're going to look at these companies. What is the key support? I'm going to show you the SPY here in just a minute. Where exactly do I think we'll come back and bounce to? I think the trend lines that I give you guys will likely play out. I don't see a strong rebound tomorrow. I think we're going to see possibly the next 2 weeks. We're going to be in a little bit of trouble. I mean, at this moment, I don't see why we wouldn't. The market's clearly took a really strong sell-off day. Now, we could bounce tomorrow, but more than likely, we're going to continue down. I think the next 2 weeks are going to be trouble. And this could give us a whole new opportunity for blue chip companies investing in 2025 on key levels of support. And then we're going to know that we're going to take risk, but we're not going to be perhaps buying them at the very top and then suffering a pull down in January. So I'd rather take my tough medicine today. I'd rather see the pullback right now and take my positions for 2025 on the pullback. But let's just jump real quick into the SPY. I'm going to pull up the SPY chart. Before I get into the SPY chart, Mark, you got any comments on that?
Yeah, I know it was a rough day. I'm not sure that anybody expected Powell to say that. I did say earlier in my show today, when I was looking at all the liquidation that was below, all the liquidity levels that was below the current price of 108, I said, well, is the price going to come down and flush out down? I saw those levels down to 101,000, and that's where it came down to, actually. So certainly I didn't expect it to come down the way that it did, or why it came down the way that I did with the Jerome Powell comment. But there was certainly a danger that there was a flush out there with just too many highly leveraged longs there, just waiting to be liquidated, just gambling.
All right. Well, I'm back up about 30, 40K from the lows in my trade account. So looks like we might have hit bottom. Let's see how tomorrow works out. I mean, we know how they love to wipe out liquidity, and maybe they went down, hunted that liquidity, and maybe it can move higher from here. But I don't think the SPY is going to get off as easy. Let's go look at the SPY real quick together. All right, guys, I want to just remind you that in the SPY, we're looking at weekly candles. These are weekly candles. And we've been in this long ascending channel. We've been in the bull side of it, guys. Whenever you're in the top half of any type of a channel, you're in the side the bulls are controlling. And when you get into the bottom half, it doesn't mean that the run is over. It means that the run is in question, or the run is basically being tested at the moment. You can see that the 20 EMA, which is the red moving average line, is running largely right through the center of all of these weekly candles. And obviously, and I'd predicted this. I mean, remember what I've said, guys, every time I've covered the SPY, these are weekly candles. I pointed out the fact that we had a lot of days where the S&P couldn't close above 608. Matter of fact, I said we had to close one of these weekly candles above 608. And if we got that, then I said that we would, like a lot of other big analyst firms were suggesting, that we could still get to 650 by the end of this year. I said only, Josh is telling you, only if we close on the weekly candle above 608 will we get to 634. We never did it. All right. So that kind of told us that we weren't going to get that 634. And now we got a big red candle, weekly candle. Now, we've still got some days in this week. So, you know, we'll see if by Friday we got 2 days for this to suck up and get, you know, and get a big old wick on it. At the moment, I'm not expecting that. This looks like a pullback candle, and I just want to point your attention to these pullback moments. Obviously, our first target's going to be the 20 EMA. That's a very reasonable spot for the market to pull back to, and that's right between 583 and 574. So you know, we're going to come in there. We're probably going to bounce, and that doesn't mean that we're going to go back up. That's the soonest that we could bounce. Similar to what happened right here, we came down with a big old fat red candle. Tomorrow, this could continue, and you know, we could bounce or finish the week there and come back up. Sure, that's possible. But more than I'm going to tell you, I mean, history does not have to repeat itself, but these are the types of things I'm going to be watching for. And I want you guys to watch for them too. You see these cluster of 3-week candles? Okay. I mean, when the market has a pullback, it doesn't pull back the same amount every time. But, you know, when it's got a decent pullback coming, sometimes it pulls back, you know, for about 3 weeks. So this is potentially week 1. And for sure, we're going to hit this 20 EMA. If we blast past it like we did back here, okay, there's going to be a fair amount of panic because under the 20 EMA, the immediate bull run is on hold, on pause. The bulls are not pushing price forward. So under the 20, it's not in the hands of the bulls. Guys, get that like up for me. I'd like to be at 500 likes at this point in the video. And if I know that there's more than 500 people watching, so just tag me in with a like. I appreciate it. And at the end of the video, we got to be watching it together. And we want to get it to about 1,000. That's going to feed the video out to more people. So here's what we're watching for tomorrow. We had a beautiful day. I'm just going to come back and talk to you guys for a moment. We had a beautiful day in our live trading this morning. We caught Nvidia calls up above my trade setup alert. We made some money on those 2 times. We got in, made a little bit of money, got out, found a spot to get back in. It fired up like a rocket. We made a little bit more money. We also took puts, and if we'd held them the entire time, we would have cleared a good 100%, but we got in and out of them. We scaled in and out. It was a great session. There's people in there giving feedback of making, you know, $500, $600, $1,000. If you made money in the trade with me, the live trade with me, drop a money bag in the comment for me today. And we do that every Wednesday and Friday. And I can tell you right now that it seems to me that if this is going to continue and we're going to go to the downside, this is the perfect time for the trade setups that I teach of trading structure in the morning. We're likely going to vacillate in that structure, but this is one of those days where tomorrow, if we get a clear confirmation under structure, it's going to be another downtrending day. And those are the days that you make the most money. We don't want to be in a sideways market. To be honest with you, I either want to be in a capitulating market and I want to ride it to the downside, or I want to be in a hot market that's screaming higher. Right now, we're in a downside market. So let's just get back a little bit more commentary here on the SPY. You can come join me at the Discord, www.stockswithjosh. It's the name of the show, and you can join the Discord and you can be part of that live trading, doing it as a community on Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay, so 583, that's my expectation for tomorrow. We're going to see some action on the 20 EMA, no doubt. Slightly beneath that is 574. But ultimately, I really don't see how we're going to get out of this pullback without hitting this 565. It's the only real strong level of support that we've got on this chart. It's all this support back here, okay? So this is the strongest level of support on the chart. The rest, we ran up pretty quickly, but we had a decent area of consolidation at 565. And that would give us, let's just kind of look at percentages for a moment. That would give us a full 7.34% pullback. And really anything from 3 to 10% is normal. Let's go back here and look at this one. This one here, we got a 6% pullback. And so anywhere in this range would be a realistic pullback. And then this is what everyone's got to be prepared to answer. I mean, one, the trend is not going to be broken until we get to I would say if we open and close a weekly candle beneath 565, then we're going to be on heightened alert. And all that we would likely do is move from one side of the channel to the other side of the channel. And then from there, we would find a base and continue to go higher. That's the worst case scenario. But largely, I'm looking at a 5 to 6% correction. And we're going to be watching that 20 EMA very, very carefully. Since I got the chart up, let me just quickly go through some commentary on Nvidia. Nvidia, I mentioned yesterday that it had one chance to get above 132. Otherwise, we had a solid confirmation of the downturn. And I also told you that if we opened and closed at least 2 candles underneath our neckline of 132, guys, we cannot get away from this. And I heard some CNBC analysts talking about it. Sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I don't. But technically, if we get that full move, depending on, let's say we actually don't count that wick right there. Let's go from here to there. If we get that full move from 132 down, it says that we're going sub 120. And, so I just want to keep that out there. We got 2 candles. 2 candles. I'm on the daily chart now. 2 candles underneath our neckline of 132. That's a pretty solid confirmation. And in my mind, I want everybody to be aware, this is where I'm probably going to buy my first leap option at 120. And every day that it's beneath, I'll add to that. And that's going to be huge because personally, I don't think anything has changed with Nvidia overall. They're going to tell you that it's changed. But it really hasn't. The problem with the Fed not giving more cuts is that the economy is strong. Why is the economy strong? It's AI. AI is changing every industry and it's changing leaders globally. I mean, I listened to the news today. I'm not going to get into news stories because they're always depressing, but there are countries that are on the brink of toppling economically. And then there are great countries that are considered rich by global standards that aren't even yet participating in any way in the AI revolution. I'm telling you that the AI revolution, it's all going to be about deep pockets. And that's why big tech ran for 2024 is because they're huge. They've got global reach. They're the only ones that can put it into action and they've got the money to do it. And literally, they're in a better position than nations. All right. And so people are going to have to come to Amazon to get their AI and their cloud service for their government, for their citizens, for things that revolve around security. This is an absolute game changer. And really, it's only big tech companies that are in a position to do it. Now, the analysts were saying today that, well, with this slowdown, they're going to slow down spending on Nvidia chips. And Nvidia is going to see, they're not going to have that growth multiple that's already been baked in for 2025. The fact is this, that's true. That's why we might get sub 120. But the fact is that as they continue to grow, because this isn't going anywhere, right? People are going to have to put every red cent into AI to survive and to be relevant in the next decade. As a result of it, we're going to see Nvidia come back and we're going to see them get to that 180, $200 market cap. And we're just going to be waiting for it to come back. And trust me, I'm not the only analyst or investor that believes that they want to be solidly in Nvidia. And the fact is the buying frenzy is going to begin, I believe, 120 and below. And so I'm excited about that coming back. I don't like seeing it come back, but I'm excited about it coming back. Okay, let's quickly talk about Tesla. And I just want to quickly show you that Tesla chart. And don't worry, we're going to get into some other things. I know this show is broad. We're talking about the S&P. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about Memecoins here in a minute with Mark. We're covering a lot of stuff, but I think it's very important. I warned about, okay, first of all, I talked about the fact that 484 is resistance. But here's more importantly what I want you guys to see, because there's 2 things. One, I told you the point of no return was 442. Where did we close today? Right below 442. So the fact is, this is not where we want to be on Tesla. Now, I'm excited about Tesla. The question is where to buy it. You see me have this support at 400. It's not actually a strong support. It's on my chart because it's a psychological support and there is some support there. But believe it or not, it's actually not a strong support. The only real strong support that exists on this chart, and you guys, you don't have to believe me, but let's just see how it plays out. The only real support that I see on this chart is at 352 and 317. Okay, these are the areas of greatest interest. You got to remember this thing was $180 a handful of months ago, And so the fact that I'm saying that support is at 352 when most people didn't even believe that Tesla would be 300 this year, trust me, support's at 352 and 317. And the day that we crossed below 442, that's an ominous day. Now, am I saying that we're going to go straight there? No. But let me show you. Let's talk about this cluster of candles, okay? This here, right, is a little bit of a doji, and it's at resistance, okay? 484 is a key resistance level I gave. Now, this candle here is beneath this candle, so that's a problem, and it engulfs the previous green candle, right? And so what you do is you take the distance from the middle of this doji down to the break, and you take that and you put that beneath the candle close, and that gives you the prediction that we're going to get back to 400. Now, can this get canceled? Yes. Tomorrow, we have to be back above 442. And for as long as we're back above 442, the down move will be on hold. But if we go back beneath 442, then this is a confirmed, this structure, guys, believe the charts. This structure confirms that we're going to have a move down potentially to 400. And personally, even though that's an area where it's tradable, okay, it's tradable. Remember, I told you the only real support was back here at 352 and 317. So I'm not going to make a call for leap options on Tesla, probably until we see how it behaves at 400 and we get back to 352. So we might enter some at 352. We might enter some more at 317. That's our Tesla plan. And I'm going to quickly comment on Micron Industries. I very cautiously, I was going to load up, 10 or so calls, but I very cautiously just kept the one call I've got for January. And obviously this got slaughtered. They didn't come out and do as well as we had hoped. And so we got what would be referred to as a, quadruple rejection. This was only going to be a confirmed move if we could get above 1440. They didn't do it. It's come back to the discounted zone. This is actually key support. So I'm expecting a little bit of bounce tomorrow. I will wait a little bit of time to get out of that position, probably in the first 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll have to reevaluate what I'm going to do with Micron. Disappointed. This was their moment to, come out with some good earnings, but they just didn't. They didn't do it, and so it's broken key support, and this is not going to be a flyaway winner. Let's bring Mark back. Mark.
Gosh.
Okay, Bitcoin. Mark, real quick, what's your sentiment on what to expect over the next couple of days with Bitcoin before I show the Bitcoin chart and we get into some meme coin conversation?
Yeah, it was so funny. I was just reading a comment there on my YouTube channel page that someone had said, because I asked people what if they thought the market would come down to 101, if the market makers would come and scoop up down there all the way down to 101. And somebody actually said many, many hours ago that they thought that they would. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm not seeing a lot of liquidity below there. And this has been very much a leverage market at times on our run up here. So I'll be looking at those liquidation levels and to see if there is a lot of shorts being opened on the market that could drive the price up. But I think this is just a bit of a flush out. This could be a good buy the dip opportunity. And I know that in our Discord there, the $2 level was discussed as a level of support. And that looks like that's held really strongly. I know we're going to look at the Sonic chart there. And so that I believe that was back up around 220 or 230. And those dips are getting eaten up on Sonic, let me tell you. So that's been quite strong. But I'm looking for some of the other coins that have held some strong bounces and keeping an eye on some of these ones like Sui and Solana to see how they react after this. I would just say it's a bit of a panic sell-off, and that triggered a liquidation event. And all the levels got triggered down from 106, 105, 104, 103. And we've held it here at 101 because really there's just not many levels below to trigger. And that's why we have a bit of a pause here for the moment. So I think this was just a little bit of an overreaction. Like I said, it's just, Powell came out and said something that the Fed is not allowed to hold Bitcoin and they're not looking to change that law. Yeah, that's what's before Trump right now. All he has to do is just put that signature on it, and that just changes it. So it was really quite a bizarre statement for him to make. I think there was just a little bit of panic in the market. But I think once Trump, I expect him to sign that law in. I'd be surprised if he didn't. Of course, there's no guarantees that would just really be a bit of an in your face to Jerome Powell. And hopefully he gets replaced. I just think that was really bad timing and really poor overall for the markets.
I agree with that. Grace asked, would MU move below 108 not have canceled getting into a call for earnings? Yes, I had gotten into that earlier in the day, and I had decided not to add to any of my positions. But that one was dated for January 2025. And so I left that one on the table, didn't take it off. But yes, if you had been following me, you guys would have known that that we already had the sign of a rollover and not to enter into any of those. All right, let's talk about
Yeah, and just to add
MicroStrategy.
to that, Josh, just looking at the updated liquidation levels here, 102, 103, 105, just a lot of
Shorts.
liquidation up there.
Yeah, so that's why this vacillates in these ranges. So what Mark is telling you is that now the liquidation levels are above us, and so the market
Yep,
makers are going to want to push it back above 105 and wipe out all these people that think they're catching the top of Bitcoin and that they're going to make
yep,
hundreds of
exactly.
thousands of dollars as the crypto cycle is over. So they're just going to go up there and wipe them out, and which is going to give relief to our crypto accounts tomorrow. Truthfully,
Yep,
all of my crypto positions, even though we've come down, we're still making a higher low from the low that we got last week. And so the only reason I would panic, I'm not going to panic sell anything, but the only reason why I would close down a position is if we broke a previous low. But right now we're making a pivot low, which
yep,
means I've got to add to some of these positions. And if you control your position size, and I talked about it in my previous videos, I said going into the Fed talking, trim down your position size. I told you guys that, and if you listened, you felt less pain today. I did listen, I did trim positions, but the truth is I got enough positions open that he still hurt me. You hurt me, Fed. You hurt me, Jay Powell. You hurt me. All right, let's talk about MicroStrategies, and then we're going to get into some memes. Just give me a moment, guys. We're going through stuff here. Appreciate you. Likes are at 780, boy, but sure, I'm not trying to be greedy, but 1,000 likes sure would be nicer. 1,000 likes sure would be nicer. Okay, guys. You know what? I'm gonna try my best not to say things like, I told y'all. When we were way back here, people asked me to chart MicroStrategies. First thing is I told people I sold retail. I said, be careful about trading this. This isn't for you. Tesla is a beast. MicroStrategies is more volatile than Tesla. Tesla is a beast. It's hard to time. It's hard to maneuver. It's hard to get in and out. You can lose money quickly. You can make money quickly. But MicroStrategies is more intense than Tesla. So I mentioned before, I said, guys, 420 is the number. You don't want to be in call options beneath 420. And these are monthly candles. And so far, November couldn't close above 420. And right now, December, it's retreating from 420. I gave you guys these trend lines. My trend lines will prove to be true. And the only real support on this chart right now is 310. Now, having said that, if Bitcoin bounces and gets back up to 105, we might find MicroStrategies trading in this range. And I'm going to give you a bullish scenario for MicroStrategies, but I want to remind you how risky this is. Let's pop over to the weekly chart. So I'm going to talk to the bulls right now on MicroStrategies, okay? If I were a bull, this is what I'd be looking at. The fact is let me get this out for you guys. The fact is we do have a flagpole going here that has not broken down, okay? We'll use the 20 EMA as our basis for our pennant shape, and we're going to draw it just like this, okay? So now, what we want to see tomorrow if Bitcoin recovers, you see how this candle here has a wick back above the 20? We need this weekly candle. These are weekly candles. This weekly candle. So by Friday, I will be bullish on MicroStrategies if this bad boy can wick back above the 20. So Friday, the goal for MicroStrategies is to get back above 370. So that's what MicroStrategies has to do. By Friday, it has to be back above 370. And if I were holding it at 370, even though we're not in a momentum move up and 420 proved to be a barrier for the momentum move, I would consider that we're still in a overall bullish trend. And you guys know how these play out. So let's just feel excited here for a moment. If this did break and we use the 20 EMA as the basis for that break, and I don't know that, this would be if Bitcoin gets to 200,000, okay? If Bitcoin goes on an absolute rampage, breaks above 116, then MicroStrategies absolutely could hit 1,700, right? Based on this flag pattern, And then even if we were to not base it on the bodies alone and we get off that red candle, let's see, even if we do that, the fact is, and we pull it down here, that gives us a target, of, let me just dial it in. That gives us a slightly more conservative target of 1,300. So if you're a bull, that's your best case scenario. But forget about getting it until you get above 420. Forget about it. It's not a reality until you're back above 420. Right now, you're not even above the 20 EMA. So let's see how the week closes. That's my best view on that stock for you guys. I got to pause a moment there every once in a while. Guys, get those. Hey, the likes are at 925. I'm feeling the love. Get me over 1,000 just to get me pumped. I'll go over these with you. All right, let's talk about the Memecoin journey. It's absolutely in full force. I don't think Bitcoin's over. I will go to the Bitcoin chart here and we'll touch on it of what it needs to do. I feel like the teacher giving these stocks an assignment. You got to get this assigned price booked by the end of the month. I've got an assignment for Bitcoin. And I'm going to lay it out here in a minute, but let's take a break from that. I need to get off the charts for a second, talk about the journey of these meme coins. And, I know that there are people that are absolutely lost and confused with the Memecoin journey. All that happened with the Memecoin journey is the markets essentially crashed. Everything began to pull back. And so the winning streak that we were enjoying had a lot to do with the market being hot and memes being hot. But nothing's changed. Sui's hot. The memes will continue to be hot on Sui. And the narrative hasn't changed. We're going to find the next altcoins on the Sui blockchain that are going to get to $1 billion market cap. Sui's still a baby. But we're going to keep our eyes on them. We've got a cheat sheet for that in the Stocks with Josh Discord. Mark and I are spending a lot of our time talking every day, evaluating these, talking about what's the current news on whether they're going to get listed on an exchange, what's going on, when was the last time that the developers checked in on their Twitter page and responded. I mean, you wouldn't believe all the things that we're going over. We're going through these with a fine-tooth comb, all for the purpose of bringing the winners to you. Well, have we been any good at that? Well, this is the success of the first 2 weeks of this journey. From the time that we called these in the Stocks with Josh Discord, Sonic went up 20,000%. Susi went up 8,000%. Blub went up 4,000%. Icy went up 2,000%. SuiJack went up 1,400%. Sweet, SUIEET went up 700%. Load, Chad, and Capo all went up 300 to 400%. Sweet, spelled S-U-I-T-E, went up 150%. Now, you can obviously see a slowdown. The slowdown is a result that the market itself was slowing down. You can't expect these memes to be hot when the market is getting ready to roll off a cliff. Probably all of Fed Powell's best friends knew he was going to slam Bitcoin today and was taking profits. Odin, right, went up 90% from the moment it was released in the Crypto Gems folder. But the conclusion on that one is that it may have been rugged from what we saw. AI Fun was yesterday's pick, and it went up 20%. And in light of everything that's pulled back, and I've got some coins that I own that I love that have pulled back a ton today, I believe AI Fun is relatively right where we called it. So it didn't suffer a major loss. So if you rolled some of that meme coin money into AI fund yesterday, you're doing okay. And it's a good sign that AI fund may continue to run. So those are the picks that we've had in the first 2 weeks. And from 20,000 to about 1,000, I'm sorry, from 20,000 to 100, everything has done very well, but not everybody has done very well. Everything is done very well, but not everybody has done very well. And you got to work with the disciplines. You got to control your position size. You got to take profit. You've got to, in these, you can't use a stop loss. You can't use a stop loss. So if you're up 100, 200%, and you can't put a stop loss on it because it doesn't work that way with these swap wallets, you got to take profit. I saw, there's always going to be in the chat, there's people that crushed it. They walked away winning. There's other people that, put money into everything and didn't ever sell anything. And a lot of these have retraced fully or retraced significantly. And so, people are going to be down. It's not been that the projects picked haven't produced incredible gains. It's that we've got to employ the stronger disciplines. Now I'm going to talk, we also ran into a problem. So not only did the market go down, but we hit a wall with what became obvious. People were tracking my wallet. I became a KOL, someone of interest in the crypto space that, probably I was doing very well. Anybody that was surrounding me was doing very, very well. And so, Mark and I tested this yesterday when the day before we bought a couple meme coins and both of them ran up 100% the second that we bought them. And then we turned around and sold them before the show and didn't announce them during the show. And they went all the way back to the price where we entered. And so it wasn't our money that pumped it up 100%. It's these wallet trackers. Now, you guys might say, is there some way that we could use this for good? Mark and I have been thinking about it. Like, could we announce the coin live on the show? And, from Mark's opinion, and I have to trust him, he's been more in the degen space than me. These AI bots, similar to Sonic, it's an AI bot. They can get 1,000 wallets to make 1,000 purchases in 1 second. If the minute I say out of my mouth what the coin of the day is, and they can get ahead of all of us. And so we are going to try to do it organically. What does organically mean? It means we're going to do a slow rollout. We're just going to announce it in the crypto gems initially. And then it's going to later appear in the general community on the cheat sheet. Then it's going to appear eventually. Mark's going to do a video on it. You want to watch Mark's page. And then at some point, we're going to come and we're going to do a recap of how they're performing or how it's performed since it was released in the crypto gems. Because just doing a massive release, it's just going to prepare other people to pre-buy it before us or pre-buy it before you by wallet tracking or whatever other means. Even if they aren't tracking my wallet, they can get it faster than you once it's released in the VIP. We have learned that there are some very malicious characters in the meme space, but we're going to fight it and we're going to continue to try to find these gems so that all of us can win. But we don't necessarily want to do it through a giant pump moment. I know that you guys would love to, but it's not going to work for everybody. And if it doesn't work for more people, I told Mark we need a minimum of 60 people crossing the finish line. And that's a low number because I'd like 100%. But if it gets below 50, it's not something I want to do. So, Mark, your thoughts on that? And then I'm going to get into we're going to talk about some of the meme coins I like right now that I bought today. In the chaos of the day. Mark, what's your thought on everything I've shared right now?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate reflection. I'll add to that, some of the memes that I was looking at that are down from their all-time high. For example, Peanut is down 65%, Popcat 60%, Whiff 50%, Bonk 49%, Mog and Mew, even Pepe and Doge are down 29, 25% from their all-time high. And we were showing a lot of the memes here that once they had initially done their pump, it only retraced, 20, 30, 40%. And people would think, well, that's a whole lot. And in reality, you're looking at meme coins here that have got listings on major exchanges that are down quite a big way. So the meme space is just a very risky area. It's not for everybody. And it's high risk. You don't want to be putting in money that you can't afford to lose. and they can be very volatile. I mean, I've seen memes go in my wallet from when I made the buy down very, very, very fast. So the meme sector is going to be the one, whenever there is a dump, that is going to be the hardest hit. And because they're the lowest caps on a lot of them, and they're the highest speculative and the highest risk as well. Even Brett down 36%. So just looking, a lot of these meme coins down very, very heavily. And, some would say it's a buy the dip opportunity there. If you believe that the altcoins are going to rally as they have in previous cycles, which I believe still is going to happen. Of course, history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. And I like to trade those probabilities. Then this could be an opportunity to pick up some of those meme coins on a little bit of the down low.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in. We're going to cover a bunch of things, guys. Let's talk real quick. I know this is a radical shift, but just bear with me. Tomorrow is, I don't know if it's tomorrow is Nike's earnings. Nike's earnings, what day is that? That's Thursday. Yeah, so it's tomorrow after market. And this is one that I think is of interest to the trading community. I'm not going to say much about it. I'm just going to say, I'm going to touch on it for 30 seconds. So let's go look at that chart. So first of all, I agree with some analyst reports that I've read regarding Nike that said that these guys had, and you're going to hate it when it comes out of my mouth, 1 to 2 years of getting reorganized. So we came back and we bounced. This is the 200-day moving average, okay? And you can see that 3 times it's been support, 1, 2, 3. Now, we haven't really taken off like a rocket. I gave this trend line of 74.40. Earnings could be another big day down. I just can't take a chance on calls for Nike. It's okay with me if I miss it. I just don't see a chart that's, these are monthly candles, okay? So, and this candle doesn't look good right now. So now we do have a series, we have a double bottom for the month of July and the month of August. So that's pretty good. We got a double bottom, but we came back and, we're moving slowly back to it. I would say this, under 74.40, that's the signal I gave that we get beneath this 200, we get beneath 74.40, the target's 6,200. And, I'm not terribly excited about Nike. I'm just going to leave it at that. If I'm wrong, we'll come back and visit it, if they have some killer earnings, but there's just too many reasons that I think this is not one that I personally will take as a lotto trade. A lot of people believe that they've got a couple years that they're going to have to spend to get organized. Now, it's a staple. It's not going anywhere, but leadership gets them into trouble with debt. And, and so there's a little bit of an issue there. And so I'm not bullish. The chart's not bullish. We want to be rebuilding towards earnings. We're not, if you're a huge Nike guy and you want to take, I'm sure the call options are cheap because this has been so badly beat down, but I don't see a play there. I only see a play to the downside beneath 74.40. So puts beneath 74.40 for sure. If the price gets beneath 74.40, puts for sure. All right, guys, at least for me, not for you, because I'm assuming that you guys are only following this with a paper trading account. It's for education only. All right, so the new rules of the rollout are going to be, they're going to be dropped in crypto gems. After that, it's going to enter into the cheat sheet. We are still going to do the A to D rating. Another problem we had, and I'm just going to share this with the community, is that every single time we moved anything from A, B, C, or D rating, everybody would just take all the money they had in the memes that might have a B, C, or D rating, and they would just sell it and roll it over into the A. And then when we gave a new A pick, they would take all the money that they had in yesterday's A pick, and they would sell it and roll it over into the new pick. The problem with that is that we're just, we're kind of crushing these coins. It really isn't the strategy, because some of these could be good projects. Some of them held up pretty well, and we want to have a small position. We want our seed money out, but we want to leave a small position in these and let them grow, because a lot of these are baby coins that were vetted by Mark and I for different reasons. Mark, before I give some of the coins I like, you have any comments on this so far?
Yeah, no, I think that as we can see, the meme coin market took a hammering today, and I think the whole purpose was, for me, I'm still. You can see on the cheat sheet the coins that I'm holding, because sometimes you just have to ride out these things, and some of them, like we say, most of them will. Most meme coins that do get released will go to zero, and we are looking to find that meme coin that does go to that $1 billion market cap there. And so I think there's a few contenders in there. I think there's some listings that are possibly coming up. I know the Susie has posted on X that they were in meetings, and they should find out within 24 to 48 hours if they're going to have a listing approved. So that is not yet over the line, but they are in talks. And obviously, I know Sonic, they've been posting that they are definitely in talks as well. I would be surprised if I would think that both of them should get listings. I'd be really surprised if neither of them did. That would be quite a shock to me. But nothing is guaranteed until something is over the line. It's not over the line, and so it's just important to make sure to keep an eye on their X pages to make sure you're following them. And I'm sure they will update there as soon as possible. And as soon as I hear anything as well, I'll look to update the community as well.
All right. Okay. So the Vitor said, "Hey, Josh and Mark, could you touch a little more the risk of buying a meme? Today, I bought a new meme project, small amount, but now I can't swap it as it has a market cap of 400,000, a volume of 150,000, and 5,000 buyers. Technically, you should be able to swap it unless it's a honeypot. Honeypots are meme coins that are designed to have a back door that the developers can go in and switch off selling. So you can only buy it, and it causes all the candles to be green, and you can't get out of it. Nobody can get out of it, but people are attracted to it because it looks like it's running parabolic, and that's a honeypot. And so to be honest with you, 9 out of 10 of these memes are worthless. 3 to 4 to 5 can actually be honeypots. So I wouldn't buy random memes. Mark and I can't tell you that you should buy what we're buying, but we do have, I would say that we've taken time to think through how to vet these, and we're still evolving that process. We are vetting each of these to a degree that makes sense to us before we share them with you. And one of them is to run them through a automator that tells us whether or not the code allows for it to be a honeypot. If it does, that's a honeypot risk. We're not going to ever mention it to you. Any thoughts on that, Mark?
Yeah, that's what you got to be careful of. You think you're buying a meme coin, there are a lot of buys and sells going on. You think, oh, it's not a honeypot, because there's selling happening. But you don't know that it hasn't been fair launched through one of these, I think, launch pads on Solana or whatever network. And it's got there's a back door for the coders, and they can just go in and they just basically, there's more technical to it, but they can just basically turn off the cells, and then all of a sudden everybody's FOMOing in because they see the pumping, they see that there's buys and sells, they think, oh, this is going to be okay, and then all of a sudden it turns into a honeypot, and you can never get your money out, and they just walk off with all the dough.
Yeah, we had. Thank you, Mark. We had a great call on a company called PRZO there, and today it shot up. It shot up to, actually it shot all the way up to, let me get the after hours real quick. Give me 1 second. 12 hours, right? So this thing shot up to $3.36. I alerted it to buy at $1.38. I think it's 100. Let me get the percentage. It's 140% win. 140% win from 1 day to the next. Matter of fact, it occurred within hours. Now, I like PRZO. It's pulled back. We're at about a 50% on our move candle. So I want to see it hold here above $2. That's my thought on PRZO. But I'm not trying to get the pump. I'm actually looking for the accumulation zones. So if it can hold $2, right, I'm going to be probably making another buy. Right now, let me just give you the exact technicals. Give me 1 second. I'll do it for you in a second. Yeah, $1.80. I know that sounds kind of low, and some people are like, oh, I better take profit because it's coming back to $1.80. But $1.80 is when I will buy more PRZO. It doesn't mean that we're going to get there. We could shoot straight to 420. But if this comes back, that's where I will buy some more. I'm accumulating PRZO. Where do we get crypto gems? We're going to talk about these meme coins here in just a second, the ones that I like. But crypto gems is part of the Stocks with Josh Discord. It is on the VIP level. You got two levels. You got university, you got VIP. VIP, you get whatever I'm doing with cryptos that I share, and you get live trading with me Wednesdays and Fridays, and you get some crown traders. You get crown traders on the university level. There's actually three. We've got crown traders. All of them are excellent, but I've released some of them to each level, right? And so you're going to get the most of Mark, who I believe is a VIP crown trader, and you're going to get the most of him in the VIP level and in the university level. And so you join the Discord, you join the VIP level, you can see the crypto gems folder, and you can live trade with me Wednesdays and Fridays. Now, you're going to need some experience. If you come in slowly, you don't want to be taking high risk, but people make, I saw tons of comments. People made, I made 300, I made 400, I made 600, I made 1,000 in today's live trading session. So I'm guiding people into making money. And if you can come in and make 1 to 200 per session, 2 times a week, 8 times a month, then trust me, your $100 is covered. But if you're not ready to do that and you don't even know options, it's not for you, but you could come in there and you could learn a little bit. You know, you don't even need to do options to trade. You could buy the stock and sell the stocks that I'm trading in that scenario, and you don't even have to do the options, right? Some people are in there doing just that. They're not going to get the big gains, but they're going to get some gains. Okay. Meme coins to 1 billion. The only meme coin that I bought today, and I made a mistake I'll have to share with you guys. I dropped some money into, I did an incorrect swap, and I didn't even share this with you, Mark. I dropped some money into Blub. Later on in the madness of it, I realized it was Blub version 2. So I threw away a couple, I mean, it's not funny, but I threw away a couple $1,000 buying the wrong Blub, because I knew I had bought some. I'm like, where's my Blub? Where's my Blub? Where's my Blub? And I found it. It wasn't the right Blub. So, and I don't even know. I don't think that can be sold. But anyways, Blub is on my list. So anybody can make mistakes. If I can make mistakes, trust me, anybody can make mistakes. Another good friend of mine had some, they were doing great in this whole challenge, following all the different trades. And then they sent wrapped Sui accidentally back to Coinbase, and it just burned all their profits. So they lost it all. And so there's more than one way to make a mistake. And that's why I said in each of these videos, slow down, pump your brakes, lay your foundation for success. And if you thought this was a get rich quick scheme, you're definitely going to come in and likely get burned. Okay. You're just going to come in, you're going to buy the wrong thing. You're going to hold it too long. You're not going to know how to take profits. You might burn it, sending it back to your Coinbase wallet. You got to get the foundation laid. It's not just about the hot coin. I bought Sonic today during the dip. I bought, I wouldn't say a ton of it, but I think $10,000 or more a Sonic today. So I'm building back my Sonic position, and it's not a recommendation for you guys to buy. I just wanted to put some money back to work in the chaos, and Sonic seemed to be the best one. I liked the wick. I love buying wicks. Sonic had a nice buying wick to it, and so I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a chance here. Obviously, we're hoping that Sonic gets a listing, but like Mark said, you can come right up to the finish line, and unless you cross, you haven't accomplished anything. You haven't won. Blub, I did put some money successfully into the real Blub. Blub seems to have held very well. I put some new money into AI Fun because it held beautifully. And if you recall, I believe it can go from 7 cents to 14 cents. That's a 100% return. And on a down day, I'm looking for something that can give me a 100% return. And Suicy, Suicy, is one that I think Mark likes. You want to talk about these, Mark, from your perspective?
Yeah, well, look, I think it's important just to highlight those coins that may be getting or close to getting a listing because we obviously know what that's going to do. It should bring in a whole bunch of new buyers, but they haven't got the listings yet. And so, obviously, there's a lot of people out there, they're holders of like a Sonic and want to see it getting a listing. And like I said, I'd be surprised if it didn't. And I'd love to see Sonic get a listing there. And we're hoping that that all goes through and they can get the eyes and the buyers and that new money that can come into the project, really give it that fresh impetus and really drive it. Because with a 10 million supply like Banana Gun, like we saw with Banana Gun, went from, and I mean, I first bought Banana Gun around $29, I believe, and then it shot all the way up to $80, and then bought some more on the dip. I think it's down a little bit today as well. And so when this was at 2 cents, I mean, we saw even with yesterday, we were talking about virtuals that took off from just a few cents up to $2. You can see some of these things can move, some of these coins can move very, very quickly, and the importance of getting in early while the market cap is still relatively small. And I would say even with Sonic right now, I believe the market cap's probably, last I checked, I think it was about 15, 20 million or something. So it's still relatively fairly small there. It's not even up into that 100 million area, let alone a billion. But wouldn't it be amazing if Sonic hit that 1 billion market cap? Wouldn't it be an incredible thing if a coin that was shared, first of all, in the crypto gems at just 2 cents, imagine that being a $1 billion coin? That would just be incredible for me.
That would be incredible. It does seem to be one of our favorites. These are high risk, guys, and obviously crypto took a downturn today, and everything gets hit. The smaller the micro cap down from Bitcoin, it's going to take a bigger percentage move down. So if Ethereum might not drop as much as some of the other alts, and micro coins are going to drop much more than the middle tier alts. So do you like Susie right now? That's what you're talking about, that they might get the listing, is what you were saying, right?
Yeah, that's. I think, like I said, they shared on their channel about it. I think people can go to the X channel and just make sure that the coins that you are liking and following, and just to make sure you're following their official channels, of course, and just keep an eye on that because that I believe 24, 48 hours could be as soon as tomorrow or the next day. I don't know what the deadline is on that and when they would find out about that, but that could be a boost for that coin. And obviously Sonic's in discussions as well. And it would be great, actually. I know that they tagged Crypto.com in a post. I think I saw an X post from there. So looking to get Crypto.com's attention. But I think that would be an ideal place to be listed. That would be a great for all USA. Those in the USA could more readily access Crypto.com. But certainly even through the Sui wallet, if you take the time to work it out, and we've done all those tutorials and training, the Sui memes cheat sheet, step by step, and all the common errors and the frequently asked questions. People, this is where, I remember from the last bull run, I thought to get ahead, because I was buying coins, I bought Solana, first of all, $13 on a major exchange. But imagine if I could have gotten that back before it hit a major exchange. And this was the same about a lot of coins, like Shiba Inu. The first time I bought that was on Crypto.com, but there were a lot of people who are buying on these decentralized exchanges, they're called. The centralized exchanges are like Coinbase and Crypto.com and Binance and so forth, and Mexi. But you got the decentralized exchanges such as all the wallets, the swaps. Binance has Pancake Swap. And of course, Sui, we introduced the Sui wallet. We've talked about the Phantom wallet for trading these Solana coins. If you get in when these coins are launched and you can get in at that low market cap, I think that gives people the best opportunities. It's also the highest risk, as you've seen with some of the coins that on our spreadsheet. And look, I know there's been a bit of a dumpy day, so everything's down, fair enough. But certainly some of these low caps can, when there is drops, they can really drop a lot further than these bigger caps, these bigger market caps, and they're a lot more risk, but the reward is much greater as well.
Let me go into a couple small charts here. I'm going to talk about Say, the request here by Jack Rice. He asked me about Say. Say is a big position. I'm not doing it because he sent me a super chat, but Say is a big position of mine. You know, I don't really have a great commentary for you. Say's pulled down, you know, 60 cents was the area I really wanted to see it hold. It broke that. You know, every time we've had, you know, it's actually quite consistent with these double tops. This is a double top rejection. Every single time we've had these valleys, we've come back and made a new high. We recently had this, you know, we've got a little valley going here. My current target for Say is at 84 cents. So obviously we need to see it pop. If we're going by the Lux, we've got a premium bar up here. Obviously, I tell you, if you buy Lux for no other reason, Lux, there's a link in the description of this video. If you buy the Lux for no other reason than to turn on the premium, equilibrium, and discount, it's worth it. If I take you into Tesla, Nvidia, Bitcoin, the SPY, you're going to see that they all rejected on Lux Premium Zone. These are simply based on percentage of moves, which I've found personally, I do a lot of swing trading off a percentage move. And if you don't know what that is, I'll show you real quick. I'll take my tool here, my info line, and I'll go from the top of this move down to the valley of this move. That's a 35% move, which tells me that this, if I get to 35%, I might be at the bottom of the move. Well, look at that. Isn't that amazing? We're at 36%. And so this would be somewhat now this is on the daily time frame. They use the premium and equilibrium in a similar way, but it's a different code. But I'm telling you what it's doing is percentage of price action moves that are typical. And so on a broader timeline. So this would be an area where I'd be interested in buying Say. Now, it's also sitting on support here. It's literally on this Lux support. It's on Lux's equilibrium, which is this white shaded area. They're considering this an equilibrium, which would be a fair value price, okay? And I also want to point out that it's come down, and this is previous structure resistance. So what we're doing is we're testing previous structure resistance, but we really need to bounce here. We've got a nice 36% move, very similar to the 35% move. And let's see what happens if I take this. And I do a lot of swing trading, guys, with what I'm showing you right now. If I go to the actual peak of this first high, it's 36.39, okay? Now, if I go to the exact peak here, it's 36.13. So we're totally where we would need to be to go long on Say. I do a lot of scalping, and that's how I do it. I'll take positions. I'll figure out what the average move is going back here, right? So here's another one. It's a pretty big move, pretty ugly move. That one's actually a 52% move. And you might say, well, what good does that do you? It gives me a general ballpark of what a capitulation looks like in this. This one's a 30% move. So I would say its most recent downturn was a 36. We're at 36. We hit premium. We're on support. This is one where I would probably add to my position. So that's my view on Say. I'm going to just quickly do this one here. Can you leave technicals on how high SUI will go? I'm only doing these not because you guys sent me the SUI chat, but I do not, super chat, but because I do. These are both important ones to cover. It says in here, will it go to $15 to $20 as speculated? I have never speculated SUI to $15 or $20. I just want to go on the record of saying that. I've speculated SUI. First of all, I've called all of the price points perfectly, and all of my price points have been achieved. Having said that, I speculated that we could get a $10 SUI this cycle, and I gave a prerequisite to that. A prerequisite means that this has to happen so that that will happen, and that's that Bitcoin has to get above 116 for any of these coins to get back to their previous highs and to make new highs. For XRP to get to $5, Bitcoin's got to continue to run. We got to get above 108. We got to get up to 116. And everything that we've covered today will largely be double in price. I mentioned recently that Bitcoin's in its parabolic stage. And so technically, if it's doing what it's going to do in previous cycles, it's going to continue to move. So that's where we're at. I think the next time I'm going to leave some more commentary time for Bitcoin specifically, but I think I've got to wrap it up there. You guys were an amazing audience. You richly blessed us with likes. Mark recently, his journey on YouTube, his journey trading crypto is not brand new. He's an OG degen there, but his journey sharing that on YouTube is brand new. And he just, the last video yesterday, got over 10,000 subscribers, which isn't easily done. I don't know if you guys know. I think you're actually considered a gorilla on YouTube. That's the term they use. If you get over 100,000 subscribers and you're in I believe the 2% of all YouTubers, only 2% of all YouTubers will ever get a page over 200,000 or over 100,000 subscribers. And so growth in this space is not easy. And so 10,000 subscribers, it normally takes 2 years to get 1,000 subscribers. Mark's gotten 10,000 in 6 months. And so don't despise the day of small beginnings. His page is on a parabolic run. And the reason why it is because he's helping people and he gives the best tutorials and he walks people through. You know, if you joined the Stocks with Josh Discord just to connect with Mark, you know, it costs a lot of money to get coaching time, just to even know how to operate these wallets. Mark's in there answering questions, hundreds of questions I see him answering and helping people. So appreciate you, Mark. Guys, go over to Tribal Traders page. The link is in the description of the video. Go over and subscribe to him and become his 10,000th and 100 or 10,000th and 200 subscriber. We appreciate you, Mark. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me. It was a little bit of a rough day today. A good live trading session. We made money, but you know, we were all hit in the face by Fed Powell. But I think the encouraging thing when it comes to Bitcoin is that the liquidity levels are now above us between 102 and 105,000. And more than likely, the market makers will drive it right back up to the bears here in the next couple of days. So we'll see how that plays out. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Mark, for being my guest today.
Peace
and blessings.